Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining the definition, the VA's definition of service records and why it's important you know what information is in those records. And as a bonus, I'm going to explain when veterans submitted this information, how it helped me as a former VA rater to grant service connection. Okay, everyone, today is going to be a juicy video. We have a lot of information to share with you, so make sure you have a pen and paper because you want to take notes on this, okay? Now, what is the VA's definition of service records? Let's go ahead and get into it. Slide number 1. Here in slide number 1, this is from the M21-1, okay? Now, before I go through this slide, remember, a lot of times when I copy the M21-1 or M21-5, I'm not copying the entire reference, okay? You have the number to the reference and the name of it. You got to go out and continue to do your research. I have a channel, I have a video on my channel where I show you how to do these particular searches, okay? So, definition of service records. Service records are records created during a service member's period of military service. The three main categories of service records are service treatment records, STRs, military personnel records, and clinical records. Don't worry about it. I'm going to share with you the VA's definition for all of these, okay? Slide number 2. Here in slide number 2, this is the definition of service treatment records. Service treatment records, STRs, are the chronological records, electronic or paper, documenting the medical and or dental care and treatment received primarily outside of a hospital during service. The records may contain a synopsis of any inpatient hospital care and or mental health treatment related to service members' service. For many years, they were referred to as service medical records. When I rate it, we call them STRs. Now, what is that? Okay, what is that? It's your sick call records. It's your records when you reported the sick call that morning before you went to work because of something, ailment that you were having, okay? Now, how do these play a key role? You submit a claim for a back condition. You were treated in service. What do you think that VSR and RVSR are going to do? As soon as that development is complete, before they schedule you for a CMP exam, they're going to go to your STRs and guess what they're looking for? Treatment, diagnosis, complaints of a back condition. And you got to think about other conditions. They do the same thing unless they are conceding it due to you being in combat, you working on the flight line, being exposed to acoustic trauma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I would say 75% of the time, when you claim it on a direct basis or even pre-service aggravation, they're going to these medical records to verify it, okay? If they don't see it, more than likely they're going to deny the claim unless they're conceding it based on something else. Either it be to military sexual trauma, you being awarded the parachute badge, combat, being exposed to acoustic trauma, okay? Meaning it doesn't have to be documented, but there's another way that they can verify it, all right? Moving right along. Slide number 3, okay? Definition of personnel records. Personnel records are administrative records containing information about the service member's service history, such as date and type of enlistment, appointment, duty station and assignments, training qualifications, performance, awards, disciplinary or other personal actions, and date and type of separation, the DD-214. Okay, now, I was in the Army. We have what is known as your 201 file. That's where you're gonna find date of enlistment, duty stations, when you leave basic training, when you're in Konos and all that stuff, all right? Training, qualification, performance, anything that you wear on that uniform is gonna be on that 201 file, okay? Your medals, your awards, Army Achievement medals, things of that nature are going to be in there. If you had any UCMJ action, it is going to be in there as well. Now, a lot of times the VA will concede a location on something. Give you a prime example, real quick. I had a veteran claiming Agent Orange exposure, and the veteran wasn't in Vietnam. And I'm like, man, I'm looking, and I saw something about Johnston Island. So if you know anything about Agent Orange, Johnston Island is one of the locations. But guess what? He wasn't stationed there. And I'm like, so I'm looking, and I'm like 2 hours looking through personnel records. And guess what I see? He had an NCO evaluation which showed his supervisor. It's like a counseling statement, but when you become a non-commissioned officer, it's called an NCOER. And they talked about him doing a good job testing the water supply at Johnston Island from this time period to this time period. And that's how I was able to grant him service connection for a diagnosis that he was claiming on the Agent Orange list. Now, if the veteran would have said, hey, pointed that out, it would have made my life a lot easier and I could have adjudicated the claim a lot faster. But this is why, one of the reasons, I'm gonna get into a little bit later, it's important you have this information, all right? Moving right along, slide number 4. Here in slide number 4, definition of clinical records. Clinical records are comprised of a variety of healthcare treatment records that document a service member's treatment at a military treatment facility. Clinical records are classified as the following: inpatient clinical records, mental health treatment, all right? Military retiree medical records. These records do not include active duty or medical records, and inpatient, outpatient, dependent medical records, okay? Now, you can also look at, these could also fall under like VA Medical Center Progress Notes, which we all know, you go to My Healthy Vet, you have access to those records, all right? Something that you can do that will hold your claim up, you go to My Healthy Vet, you print off every single record and send it to the VA. Don't do that. Raiders have access to that, okay? They could do a search quicker through their system than they can all those documents that you printed out. Don't waste your time in doing that, all right? Move right along, slide number 5. Types of evidence VA may use to supplement or as a substitute for service treatment records, okay? The various types of evidence VA may use to supplement or substitute for service treatment records, remember, that was slide number 2, include but are not limited to the following: statements from service medical professionals, certified buddy statements, accident and police reports. I actually granted service connection from a veteran that said, hey, I was on leave. Here's my leave report because it was in his personnel records. I was headed home from, I think he was a Marine from 29 Palms and he was going up to Northern California. So when he didn't even submit the leave form. When he gave a description of him coming up on a fatality and say he was on leave, I went to the personnel records, found the leave form, went to MapQuest. Oh, okay, from here to here, he had to go through here. He had a copy of the police report, okay? So that was enough for me to get him to that C&P exam. The doctor agreed, he had PTSD due to coming up on that fatality, got service connected, okay? Medical evidence from the civilian, private hospital, clinics, and physicians that treated the veteran during service or shortly after separation. Now, today, a lot of veterans get referrals, service members get referrals to go off post, off base for treatment. That is part of your service treatment records. Make sure you keep a copy of it because this is where it comes in handy. Letters written during service, photographs taken during service. I don't agree with photographs unless it has your name tag. I had a veteran send in photographs of him in Iraq. Oh, I was in Iraq. Here's pictures. How do I know that's you? Okay, because the quality team could pull it and be like, oh, you shouldn't have did that because it's just a picture. It couldn't have been a picture of anybody, all right? Pharmacy prescription records. That's a good one. Insurance-related examination reports. Let's just say You were in a car accident, you didn't go to sick call and get treated for it. Somebody rear-ended you and you filed an insurance claim. Guess what's going to be in that information? One, it proves that you were in a car accident. Okay, so me, if you're claiming back or neck, I'm going to concede that. All right, just something to think about. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, but why is it important that you need this information? Now, you can submit a FOIA request to RMC, Records Management Center in St. Louis, if you've never filed a claim, because the VA will not have this information. But if you have ever filed a claim, you can submit a FOIA request to the VA the same way you submit that claim and get a copy of these records. Then you need to take the time and comb through them. Now, what are you going to receive? You're going to receive a CD, and this CD is also known as C-file/claims file. I cannot tell you how many veterans I talk to that have this, and they say, Dwayne, I forgot I was treated for this. I forgot this happened. Now you have exactly what that VA employee under VBA has when they're going to adjudicate your claim. You want that same information, okay? Now, it's not a guarantee, automatic service connection, but trust me, it will make your life a lot easier. Also, one last nugget. If you have the originals for all this stuff, send the VA a copy, okay? Had someone become a client and they were like, I've been fighting for years and they're saying that they don't have records and why don't they have them? During that conversation, the veteran says, oh, I have the originals. So why didn't you send copies to the VA? Well, they should make copies. How can they make copies when you have the originals, okay? Now, if you don't want to send in the originals, fine. Make sure you send in a copy. And with that being said, also, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.